Today, I wanted to discuss something with you guys that kind of got me thinking about the future of my Jeep Cherokee XJ here. So as you guys know, over the past 3 years that I've had this thing, a whole bunch of work has gone into it in, restoring it and preserving it to make it look as good as it does. Of course, we still are not finished. And as you guys know, old XJs are pretty much a never-ending project. And we still do have quite a few things on the to-do list. So that's going to be the main topic of today's video. But then also, at the end, I do have some very good news about my 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 factory order. So definitely make sure you stick around until the end to hear that good news. I do want to give you guys another quick walk around of my Jeep Cherokee XJ here after getting the rear bumper replaced. Now in my previous video, you guys remember I showed you the rear bumper, the brand new bumper, but the Jeep was also filthy back then. So I went ahead and washed the entire Jeep. So it's, it looks very good right now, pretty much as good as I could get it. Still does have a few kind of like etch marks on the hood here. Probably gonna have to clay bar that at some point. But obviously the main point that I wanted to show you guys here is of course the rear bumper and show you how good it turned out. So you guys probably all remember it had a huge rust spot right over here. Give you guys a good view of that. Looks a whole lot better. We also did have a whole bunch of rust on this side as well. Obviously cleaned it up a whole lot, and then we also did get these brand new brackets back here. Not sure how well those are going to show up, but of course they were very rusty before. So along with that, they also did kind of undercoat the rear section of the Jeep here as well on the underside. So yeah, it looks a whole lot better than before, obviously. And then we did also get these rear bumper end caps replaced, just because they were a little bit faded before. Now the rears were not as bad as the fronts, but of course I already replaced the front ones, so of course I wanted to also replace the rear ones as well. And then also, as I mentioned previously, we did have two minor issues here. So first up, we just weren't able to transfer over the rear mud flaps here because they were rubbing on the leaf springs. So I am still searching for new mud flaps to put on here because I do like the look of them, and of course I don't like the fact that now a bunch more like rocks, water, and mud are going to fling up onto the body and onto the underside here as well. And of course I do have the mud flaps in the front, so I definitely do want to match the rear mud flaps as well and get those installed. So the second issue here is that we did not get the rear bumper shield transferred over to the new bumper from the old bumper. So now there's just the big gap right here. So I already did order a brand new rear bumper shield to install, and this bumper does have pre-drilled holes for that bumper shield. You can see one right over there. So all we would have to do is just install it. Now I'm hoping we won't have to actually take off the entire bumper just to put that little piece of plastic on here. But basically it's just gonna make sure that none of the like rocks and road debris gets flinged up onto this like weather stripping here, as well as the top portion of the trunk right there. So it's just for like extra protection. So if you look up from the bottom, you see that gap right there, then the weather stripping is right here. So I just kind of want to protect that to, not make it too dirty on the inside. Instead, just make that plastic bumper shield dirty instead. So got that ordered already, just need to wait on that. And like I said, also still looking for those rear mud flaps to mount to the rear right here as well. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at how this thing turned out. Definitely very happy with this brand new bumper, and of course the bumper end caps, and just give you guys a quick look at the whole Jeep here as well. Then right here, of course, the brand new front bumper end caps that we installed last year as well. Definitely tie into the whole Jeep very well. And yeah, very happy with how it looks. So short-term plans for my XJ here are to get that rear bumper shield installed, get the new rear mud flaps installed. And we're also going to get the whole entire underside wire wheeled and undercoated with rust encapsulator. So as you guys know, probably I think like 2.5 years ago, we got this thing descaled and undercoated with fluid film. But as I showed you guys in the back there, they did undercoat the rear section of the underside with that rust encapsulator. And I think it just looks a whole lot better, and it's easier to maintain as well, because if you see that part of the paint got like scraped off, or if new rust is starting to form, basically all you have to do is just wire wheel it and spray it over with that rust encapsulator. So with fluid film, they do recommend to reapply it every single year. So I do think that the rust encapsulator just looks a whole lot better because it makes the whole underside black, and it's also easier to maintain. Let's go ahead and get into the actual topic of today's video. And it all started whenever I picked my Jeep back up from the shop after I got the brand new rear bumper installed. Now, whenever I was talking to the mechanics and the owner of the shop, we were just talking about my XJ and how it's my current preservation project and how I'm basically just trying to keep it clean. And then my 392, I actually do want to off-road that thing. And there's always going to be people that say it's a bad thing that I'm not off-roading this XJ, but they actually completely agreed and said that, you know, keep it a pavement princess, because this is basically the last clean XJ that they know of, like, ever. Now, of course, that could be a bit of an exaggeration, but you know, that shop that I went to does specialize in Jeeps and off-road vehicles, so I'm sure they see a lot of XJs in their shops, and that's kind of a bold statement to say that my XJ is the last clean XJ that they know of, like, ever. Now, I'm sure there's many other clean XJs out there, but it kind of just got me thinking about the fact that, you know, if you guys want to buy an XJ, if you're interested in buying an XJ for whatever reason, you definitely don't want to wait any longer, because although there are many XJs for sale out there, it's definitely hard to find the good ones and the clean ones. So if you're looking for an XJ, and if you are interested, you definitely do want to go ahead and pull the trigger as quickly as you can find a good one that you actually want to buy, because that's pretty much how I got my XJ right here. And I got it literally right before the prices started skyrocketing. As you guys know, I got this thing for literally $3,500. It's a 2001 and it had 103,000 miles on it when I got it. And I think $3,500 is a crazy good price. And many people will also agree with me on that statement as well. I'm sure there's somebody out there willing to pay probably $15,000 for this thing. That would not surprise me at all, because I've seen many XJs, you know, obviously cleaner than this one, go for more money. And although I am trying to hype up the XJ and, you know, tell you guys to buy it as soon as you can if you want one, I'm not trying to say that this thing is like a Ferrari F40 or like a, what is they call it, a Bugatti EB110 or whatever, like the old ones were. I'm not trying to compare those to my XJ. Obviously, XJs are much lower value and much lower, you know, like historic significance, whatever that even means. But I do think that in the Jeep world, these things are probably one of the most desirable, you know, old Jeeps that you can get. And I'm sure many people would agree with me on that statement as well. Now, going back to my personal story of buying my XJ, as I told you guys, $3,500 for this thing, and it had, you know, some rust obviously in the common spots on the rocker panels, both sides and the rear. And then it also had, you know, basically non-existent rear lower quarter panels. So of course, it's going to be basically impossible to find a completely rust-free XJ. And if you do, it's going to be like 15 to 20K. If you don't mind spending some money or fixing it up yourself, then, you know, it's definitely acceptable to buy one that, you know, runs and drives good, but needs some rust repairs, as pretty much all of them do. That's basically how I got into mine, because of course it did have some rust that I obviously repaired, and over the past 3 years have been working to restore this thing and preserve it as best as I can. So the day that my XJ actually got posted on Facebook Marketplace, literally the next day, I went to go look at it, take it for a test drive, and tried to negotiate the price a little bit lower, because originally he was asking for $4,000, and he did say he was firm on that price. Now, whenever I looked at the Jeep, I offered him $3,000 instead of $4,000, and unfortunately he rejected that offer. So I said okay, and I just left. And then, you know, later that day I messaged him on Facebook Marketplace and I said, hey, if you can negotiate the price down to $3,500, I can give you cash tomorrow morning. So literally 2 days after it got posted on Facebook Marketplace, you know, I bought it. And you really have to be looking everywhere and all the time, basically, if you want to get a good clean XJ like this one or many others out there. Now, I just wanted to tell you guys my story just to kind of prove that you really do have to look constantly for these XJs, and that they are becoming very difficult to find. Now, even though there are, like I said, a bunch of XJs out there for sale, they're getting very hard to find clean ones that actually are reliable, that actually run and drive perfectly, that are actually clean and not beat on, and that are stock. And mine was stock whenever I first got it, and that's what I was looking for. And then something else I wanted to share with you guys, whenever I went to talk to the owner in person, and, you know, the day that I test drove it, he actually told me that he was getting offers for like $5,000 if he would ship it to the buyer, but he just wasn't willing to ship it, so he didn't sell it to those people at a higher offer. I'm saying that to you guys because that also proves that there definitely are people out there who desire a clean XJ, and they are willing to look all over the country and ship it to their location. So if you are looking for a clean XJ that runs and drives, that is stock, that has the 4-liter inline 6 instead of the 4-cylinder, you know, if you want all of those, then you really do have to look all over the country, and you have to constantly be looking. Either that, or you have to pay like 20K if you want to buy one from Davis Auto Sports. Which I'm not saying anything negative about them, but they do sell very clean XJs for a very large amount of money. So you can also take that route, of course, or you can take the route of buying one on Facebook Marketplace and doing all the work yourself and slowly making it a project, just like I did over the past 3 years. And in the end, it ended up being much cheaper than if I were to just buy one that's already restored. Because obviously people who restore these Jeeps have to obviously make a profit to make it worth it for them. So, you know, it all works out in the end. I just chose to take the route of buying one on my own and then doing all the work myself, or taking it to a shop to have work done to it on my own terms, basically. I have seen ones from Davis Auto Sports go for like $40,000, and those are, of course, completely restored inside and out, and also upgraded and outfitted for off-roading and many other upgrades as well. So it all kind of makes sense. But I think right now I'm about like, I want to say maybe $15,000 into my XJ, including the purchase price, all parts and labor and everything. So in the end, for me personally, it was a better option to just go ahead and buy one and then, you know, make it a project of my own. So now for the news on my 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 that you guys have all been waiting for. So I am very excited to announce that it is currently in the final stage of production, and we are expecting to take delivery within the next month. So definitely super excited. It's been about, you know, 7 months already since I ordered that thing. Seemed like it was, you know, it wasn't even scheduled for production until like 6 months after I ordered it. So of course it went to scheduled for production a few weeks ago. And then just a few days ago, they started actually building it. And then I got a notification from my salesperson that it is now in the final stage of production, which is the G status, which basically means that the engine, chassis, and interior are all installed. And now they just have to install the trim pieces, and then it's going to be all built. Then they just have to ship it to the dealership, and they just have to take delivery of it, do all of their PDI inspections and whatever else they need to do, and then I can actually take delivery of it. So definitely super excited for that. It's definitely been a very long wait, and I'm sure it's going to be well worth it once I actually take delivery of that Jeep. And I'm hoping you guys are also very excited to see all that content, because we are going to be, you know, installing a bunch of things on my own, not just taking it to a shop. So definitely super excited for that. And we're also going to be taking it on a few trips, you know, road trips, on road as well as off road. I'm planning to take it to the Skyline Drive, Blue Ridge Parkway, do some on-road driving, see how it handles twisty roads, especially with that 392 V8, 470 horsepower, and it also has paddle shifters as well. So I'm sure it'll be a whole bunch of fun on the road, and of course we are planning to take it off-road as well. So it's kind of just going to be like a very fun all-around vehicle. So definitely looking forward to that, and hope you guys are looking forward to that as well, because I'm going to be putting out a whole bunch of content with that 392. And with all that being said about my 392, I'm never planning on ever getting rid of my XJ here, so you guys don't have to be worried about any of that. And of course we do have a bunch of future plans with this thing as well, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. So definitely stick around and definitely subscribe for more XJ and 392 content as well. And of course, as always, I want to hear your opinions on the future of the Jeep Cherokee XJ. Will they ever go completely extinct? Do you guys agree with what I said about them being super rare and hard to find? Drop your opinions down below in the comments. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say. And also, if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys have any video suggestions for videos you would like to see in the future, also drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys liked this video or found it entertaining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.